lasers and stuff like that. You know, we've had this conversation before, mostly because, you know, a lot of people get frustrated when they get MRIs or CAT scans and the doctors come back and say, well, there's nothing wrong with you, you know, and yet somebody's in excruciating pain. Or, you know, in my own journey with my knees for, you know, almost 20 years, I had people say, well, it's just arthritis. It's just arthritis, you know, and arthritis really is terrible. But at the same time, it wasn't just arthritis. Yeah. So we were at a seminar together, and someone had mentioned the airlines X-rays, you know, that could show fascia restrictions. And what was funny was after we left there and I went through the airport, I got dinged on my shoulder area, the actual shoulder blade area, and I was having pain there, you know, like some discomfort. Yeah. So it's interesting that right now there's no real medical devices, you know, necessarily that are catching it, but it seems like potentially something, you know, and you know, obviously when it comes to machinery and stuff like that, it's looking for certain things. So if lasers and the technology is finally starting to get to where it could see this, then in theory, at some point, it should be able to see those pools that you were talking about, the solidification.
That's the hope, right? I mean, because a lot of people are frustrated with X-rays and MRIs. It's something that we deal with in our practice all the time. Is people, why am I not getting an MRI? Why am I not going to get? And then when they do get it, they go, oh my God, there it is. Look at it, right? They find arthritis, they find degeneration, they find torn areas, they find all of this. But unfortunately, the fact of the matter is, what we are looking at is proving something after the fact. There's undoubtedly a Latin term for that from philosophy courses, but you're proving it by, you know, like you take the picture and they go, see, there it is. But the only reason I'm going to get an MRI or an X-ray is why? Because it hurts, or it looks funny, or it's moving funny, or some sort of symptom is happening. I'm not going in for my weekly MRI to have this constant thing. I wait until I'm in terrible pain. And then we take a picture and we go, oh, there it is. Unfortunately, fascia does not show up on any standard tests. I oftentimes will question, and I've talked to John about this too, and he agrees, but it's one of those, yeah, that's a fun way to think about it, but we have no way to prove it. But I talk about it like, I think that we can see it in the way that we look at black holes. So when astronomers are looking at a black hole, you can't see it, right? Because there is no light that escapes it. Therefore, it's black, right? The blackest of the black. But what you do see, and how we know black holes are there, are because of the effects in the area, right? So we see the accretion disk, we see the energy blast, we see the gravitational pull, all of that. So I think if we looked at MRIs, and if we had people who understood fascia, understood the importance of it, and understood how that can affect structures, we would possibly start to look at some of our imaging differently. So we would look at the effects that are happening in the area and how is that changing it. But in the end, you don't need a $5,000 test to find out where those pulls are. You just need these guys. And the diagnostic skills that were ever invented are right on the ends of our wrists. But we kind of gave up on that, right? Because it's easier to just throw you on an MRI or an X-ray or something and then point at it, cut it, medicate it, and send you on your way.
Right. And cutting creates scar tissue, which, as we know, creates lots of problems. Anytime my scarring on my knees get worked on, you know, I jump through the table.
What are we looking at with scar tissue? We're looking at fascia, right? The difference is, and this is the difference when you see throughout the whole body, because we say connective tissue, and that spans a great distance. That's ligaments, that's tendons, that's areolar tissue, so breast tissue, right? That's the viscera that goes around your organs. All of these are very, very different in terms of structure and function and durability, right? But what you're seeing is a difference in the percentages of those elements, those constituent elements that we talked about. So is it more collagen and less elastin? Then it's going to be really thick and tough like a ligament, right? Is it have a little more elastin? Well, now we're talking like a tendon, because now it's strong, but it can stretch, right? Or it goes all the way to the other side of just loose tissue like breast tissue, which is not specifically that. So with scar tissue, what you're looking at is a laying down of more collagen, those girder-like structures, than elastin. And that's important because it's quick mortar, but we go back to slim good body, right? And that body stocking and those pulls, that scar tissue is like dragging an anchor, right? So I will tell people it's like, if we go back to Dickens' Christmas Carol, it's like Marley's ghost. We're dragging around these chains, oh, the ponderous chain, all the time, but we don't know because no one has told us, oh, there it is, you know. But if we can soften those areas of scar tissue, those restrictions, that pressure, that straitjacket can finally start to relax, and that constant inflammation and pain and discomfort can start to minimize because there's no reason for it to be there anymore.